Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. We are here again today for the FM Lunch Hour. We spend an hour every Thursday by 1 o'clock to discuss on important topics that affect our work life, our careers, our life generally. It's all about workplace productivity, facility management, and impacts to our community. That's what we do every Thursday by 1 o'clock. So it's my pleasure to welcome you again to today's session. My name is Paul Erubami. I'm happy to be here. And we've been doing this, every week for almost a year now. If you want to catch up with previous episodes of the Launch Hour, we've dealt with, a lot of FM topics. We are now on the Workplace Productivity series this year. When we are done with this series, we're going back to more technical aspects, in the coming months. But we're going to do a lot of leadership, customer service, soft skills, to complete this workplace productivity series. So if you have not followed us on our social media platform, YouTube, X, LinkedIn, please connect, and Facebook connect, and invite your friends to do the same. You have loads and loads of video content on our YouTube channel, loads and loads of video content for you to learn all kinds of skills. You're welcome to, go enjoy them for free. I'm talking of almost 400 videos of, well curated lessons like the ones you're having into this session. Before I jump into today's topic, networking within the company, I would like to just remind all of those who are out there still thinking about the FM diploma that we are running the second batch for the year, the class 21 from inception. This is the batch that is most likely going to be able to be part of the graduation with the previous batch of the year, because the next one starts on September 2nd, right? So if you can still join this, which is still open for admission till the end of May, you can please take on the register now and start contributing your fees or tuition towards the September 2nd class, because that's going to be a very tight sheet program, because we need to finish on time, have the exam, and then go on to plan and execute the graduation ceremony. Some fun facts about the FM diploma. We have done free training sessions about 9 times since 2017. We have used that program to reach out to at least 5,000 people on a one-day free training. In fact, the earlier days of our giving back series, we're doing 2 days training, either for free or for a little token. And then later we started, enabling people who just want a certificate for a short course to also use the free training to, earn a certificate for a little token. And then we moved on to the free certificate that is fully controlled and backed up with an online credential system. So whether our training is paid for or free, when you get on our portal, the learning management system will deploy, and you take the content and the course and you do the quizzes, you download a certificate. It's a certificate that is valid for life because you've gone through not just the content and knowledge, you've gone through a certain rigor and a testing that shows you absorb the knowledge and skills. So in the last free training we did, we were able to get, close to another 100 again, add to that list of people who have acquired the free certificate. Now, the FM diploma itself has about 750 people who have acquired it since the last 8 years we've been running it, and it's becoming by far the biggest, producer of FM professionals in the African continent. Our alumni right now, group right now is the largest facility management network in the continent of Africa, and that's just growing. We have a current class ongoing, we have another class already here, and we have more classes to come. Now, this is the most significant fact. We have achieved 98.5% work placement for everybody. In fact, 70 to of people coming to the FMMC diploma already are working, and they have experienced career growth, almost doubling their income in less than 24 months. That's our statistics. And then we've had the remaining 20 or 30% of those who come in without work or in jobs they want to transition from, or with jobs that are not satisfying to them and they want to upgrade themselves, making those moves within 6 months of finishing the program. So 98.5% success rate is what we've achieved in the FM Mastercard diploma, and the testimonials are flowing in. If you go to our YouTube channel, if you're on our Facebook pages, on our Google My Business reviews online, you will see all of these reviews. It's a powerful tool that we've set rolling. And the alumni group that we form out of the FM diploma that is growing on a yearly basis has now become a robust knowledge sharing and marketplace for the FM community that we have created. And this is still the biggest FM community, bigger than any other FM community in all the professional bodies in Nigeria put together. So you want to be among the top professionals. You want to hear from them. You want to see openings before they become public. You need to take the FM diploma and get on that alumni. And you want to have lifetime mentorship. You want to have, the inroad, the front row seats for every headhunting in our industry. You need to be connected. You need to be in the Max-Migold alumni network. Okay. So don't think that, oh, I have a lot of experience in facility management, therefore I know what I'm doing. Certain careers can still go bust if you don't have the right network and you don't have the right resources to help grow and build that career. And even if it doesn't go bust, you want to grow and excel your career, this is the place to be. So that's why I'm inviting you. Take advantage of the FM diploma right now. And please tell your friends, tell all your networks that this is what will make the difference. And why am I even preaching about FM careers? Why is it important that we take facility management seriously? Facility management is the fastest growing profession in the world. The built environment is expanding greatly. Buildings are being, erected everywhere, and the demand for people who are going to manage this is just going to keep increasing. If you take the statistics of salary earned by those who come out of school in the last 1 year, or came out in the last 1 year, 2 years, and those who stayed in their discipline, engineering, business, whatever discipline, and moved on in that path of growth and career progress, and those who took a detour and took a training in facility management, took a job in facility management, it takes just 3 to 5 years to double what you should have been earning in your traditional career, because FM does not have that much competition, because you're not coming out of school with people who are trained as facility managers. So the opportunity you have right now is this unique comprehensive 3 months training to take on facility management almost at the equivalent of a master's degree in facility management because of the level of content. But the most important part of it is the practical skills you get from those facilitators who take different topics that we cover. And then we have the field trips, and we have the live projects that are all scored to give you the FM diploma credential, which is represented by Max-Migold. So we're not trying to be affiliated or be connected to anything. We create our credential and we are driving it through. The value of our credential is in the lives and careers of our graduates all over the world. All over the world. We have, literally more than 100 in different parts of the world excelling in their FM career because of what they've been groomed with and trained with in the FM diploma. So welcome on board for those who are making the choice or decision. All right, so today's launch is about networking within the company. I know people talk about networking, and what comes to mind is networking, going out to network and things like that. But today we're looking at the kind of networking that you do within your organization, right? You cannot just be in an organization and be isolated. That's the kind of life people want to be living right now. They tend to be isolated. They tend to be keeping to themselves. Some are trying to be productive. Some are trying to make an impact, but they don't know that by isolating yourself, you're not being productive and you're not making an in today's session.
All right. So, you know,
and research has shown that when clear goals are associated with learning, it occurs more easily and rapidly. So we're looking at why we should be talking about networking as individuals, networking within our organization. So we're going to have, we'll define it, what does networking mean, the principles of networking, how to use networking tools, avoiding common mistakes in networking, as well as how to manage our times successfully. So those are the top things we'll be covering in today's session. It's easy to overlook the need to make connections within our own organization, right? People have talked a lot in business circles about how to network and go out to observe what's happening out there in the world. But today we are looking at how to network within. Charity begins at home, they say, right? So you have shared knowledge easily within your team, and that increases your opportunities within your team. When people say, oh, I know this guy, he can do this, he's very good in this, it is because there's been some level of networking that exposes each other to such ability to improve ourselves. Networking within the organization will also improve your professional image. I'm an accountant, I'm a lawyer, I'm a facility manager, I'm an engineer of this or engineer of that, right? Your ability to network is what's going to make people feel that sense of your presence, that sense of your value. So never underestimate the importance of making connections at work. Those personal relationships that we create at work will grow, into a network that is more than that one-on-one connections we make at work. Because as you connect to one person at work, you are indirectly connected to that person's connection, whether within or outside the organization, right? So every connection that you make increases your chances of being referred for new opportunities and greater responsibility. That's the whole idea. One of the greatest value of networking is that you have this opportunity of sharing knowledge. The ideal opportunity for sharing knowledge, it's two ways. Someone taps into my expertise, I tap into that person's expertise. It's more like an exchange, right? It's a two-way street. When connections share knowledge, you will learn how to avoid the mistakes that they encountered in their own careers and in their own work, right? And then they also benefit from your own experience. It's very important. The information that we provide should be valuable, should help inspire others. Just the same way we want to be inspired by getting the information about others in our network. So sharing knowledge is a great opportunity, great reason why we should network within our organization. It also helps increase opportunity. I always make the statement, if you are not on the table, you are in the menu, right? What it simply means is that if you are not in a situation, where discussion and decisions are being taken, those discussions and decisions are being taken about you. You are in the menu, right? And if you don't network within your organization, you will often be in the menu and find it more difficult to get on the table, because when those discussions are being had, nobody really know much about you. Nobody can really vouch for you. Nobody can really say, hey, let's pull in this guy. Let's pull John into this. Let's pull Mike into. I think he's good at what he does, right? So that can be a big challenge, because you have isolated yourself, but as you network, you build your network, you share your skills with your network. That word of your skills and expertise will also reach other people, especially supervisors and managers in other business units or departments in the organization, right? So those opportunities can come at the time when you least expect it. All right. So that's what we're looking at here. So it's not that you network today and you reap the value today. You don't know when the value of that networking will come. Opportunities, include training opportunities, mentoring opportunities, lateral moves within the organization, and even promotion, vertical moves within the organization. So try to increase the opportunities by networking within the organization. Now, creating a network allows you to also fine-tune your professional image as you connect with others. You can share your success with your network, conduct yourself in a way that people admire, right? Because you're conscious about this networking, you are deliberate, you are intentional, right? In the way you yourself, right? It provides you with a perfect opportunity to improve your professional image among your peers and superiors. If you take advantage of all the opportunities that networking provides, the professional image will be everything that you want it to be, right? But to build this image, you have to be helpful. You have to be useful. Too many people are doing their jobs as if, they didn't ask me to do that. That's not in my job description. Blah, blah, blah. I'm not concerned. If things break, if somebody is doing well or not, it's his business. The moment you start thinking system thinking, that way of thinking that we are all one, that we are stronger together, right? That we do things and achieve a unified result that makes more sense, then we become helpful. We become helpful. We go out of our way to pick up the slack within the organization after we've done our own bit, of course, right? We ensure that we bring up ideas that can move the entire team, forward. That is one of the strongest way you can be you can network professionally within the organization. And then be professional. Be professional. Carry yourself as an individual that knows what he or she is doing, right? And apply some level of decorum in your interactions, in the way you do your job. All right. So what are some of the obstacles we face, in networking, especially within our organization? So let's talk about some of them so that we can avoid those pitfalls and build some more level of confidence in the way we get our jobs done and the way we interact with one another. Cultural barriers, for example. There are different things that we'll have to do with language, cultural barriers, certain personality among the co-workers that we have. We don't expect because we are not asking you to network. People in the organizations, some are this way and some are that, because everybody will be different, right? You cannot have a one rule fits all approach to your organization. You have to be open-minded in the way you approach networking so that you get some time to understand, people around you. So you can apply, customized approaches to networking with them. And then there's some confusion over the definition of networking. Some just take networking as collecting the contact of somebody. Oh, I've saved this contact. That's not networking, right? It's just the beginning. If you take a contact and you don't do anything else, of course, you are not networking. Some can, show up in a football game and play football with you and still know nothing about you. Socializing, that's not all about networking. We need to take networking to, break it down into what it really means. Interacting with people, some of the obstacles we encounter is the personality traits of people. Some are extroverted and very playful, but because they're extroverted and playful, we may take them for granted. We may undermine their preferences, and when they get into obstacles, networking effectively with them. Some are assertive. Some are assertive people. They want to be recognized. They are very opinionated, right? So recognizing their achievements may be helpful in networking with them. And then you have meticulous planners, people who are very detailed, perfectionists, right? So you must understand these kind of traits to be able to know how to work with them. You cannot be casual and laissez-faire around perfectionists. Of course, they just have a distaste for you and they knock you off. And that's the end of that networking. You must show some level of adjustment to trying to do things with more order, with more attention to detail, for example. And then there are some that are just, peacemakers, calm people who can't afford to see a conflict. While an assertive person might be open to, you call it bluff, because it's not serious, it's not making sense. Let him go to blazes or something, right? A peacemaker will say, no, don't hurt his feelings. Let's hear him out. Let's find the middle ground, and things like that. people have different personalities. That's the basic point here. Do not assume that because you are cool with Mr. A, Mr. B will have to behave the same way for you to be cool with Mr. B, right? You understand Mr. A, his personality kind of rhymes or aligns with yours, and that's why you're cool with him. Find ways to understand Mr. B and create, also find creative ways to be cool with Mr. B. So that way, the kind of thing that creates your network with Mr. A, not the same kind of things or activities that create your network with Mr. B. You must create customizable networking techniques for everybody. You're also likely to encounter cultural barriers in the modern workplace, right? So when we talk about cultural barriers, we're talking about language barriers. Even if you have the means to interpret a language, modern tools, put something in your ears and somebody speaking a different language, you hear what the person is saying. It's also important to understand certain word placements in languages that when they translate to English, they may sound off to you because you are not of that, language. You're not coming from that language. There are certain literal translations that might not ring well, with you. So understand that to that extent, So some words that I used in, English words that I use from one language, might be okay. If you pick that same word and use it, to another person speaking English who's coming from the background of another language, might be off, right? So think about that. Another thing we deal with is stereotypes. Monitor your thoughts and feelings to identify any prejudice or stereotypes that you keep from developing relationships with people from different cultures. This is a very big issue. Many people have this. This is how Nigerians behave. This is how South Africans behave. This is how Ghanaians behave. This is how Igbos, Yoruba, Hausas behave. Once you form those kind of prejudices in your mind, you will not be open-minded to networking with that individual. Even if it doesn't sit next to you in the same office, you guys will have a solid wall built between you for years that you will not be able to create any reasonable network, right? And then the next one is the cultural norms. There are certain cultural norms that you need to be conscious about. Don't take it for granted that, because I'm from this area, this is what is okay, acceptable by us. Everyone else should accept it. No, don't take it. I had a cultural shock when I moved in, from Benin City, moving into Lagos to take up jobs and start interacting and talking with people, both at the workplace and outside the workplace. And so this reverence for elders, handshakes. There are certain norms for handshake. You don't raise your hand up to, extend your hand to an elder. Even if it's your gardener, he will look at you like, this is very disrespectful young man. Does he know in my age, I'm 50 years, 30 years older than him. Why is he lifting his hand up to shake me? Now that's how tough things were. And if you are the kind of person that, grow quickly in your career, in your 20s, you are already managing, some really old people in your team, you still have to understand what the culture is. Shaking hands with older people or with women, might not just be, seen as a cultural thing that's acceptable. You may want to justify it because your own background accepts it. So this is where you're from. We don't make such inferences, negative inferences, right? We don't attach something to doing something with the left hand. Somebody just sends something to you, you just stretch your left hand to pick it from that person. That could be normal from where you're coming from. But you have to learn the cultural issues around where you are. Because if you stretch your left hand to pick something and the person looks at you and like, who is this person? In fact, the person who is dealing with you probably is not the one only making that conclusion of how terrible you are with your cultural ignorance. It may just be all those around you at that moment making judgments about you, knocking off certain things about their networking with you or whatever they need to do with you because they've seen you as someone they cannot work with, right? So be conscious about it. There are some where you cannot make eye contact. Here we say, oh, If somebody's not making eye contact with you, it means the person is lying. But sometimes it's just respect. You don't make eye contact with the person. You make eye contact is rude, right? You learn it. You adjust to it, okay? So those are some of the things that we're talking about when it comes to networking and cultural barriers. All right. So what are some of the other barriers? Personal pride. Personal pride is a good thing, right? It's something that helps you demonstrate the level of confidence and your talents, your ability to be yourself, right? So it's a good thing to have, personal pride. But in networking, it can become a barrier, right? It prevents people from networking effectively. You develop relationship, but fail to call upon people in their network for help because of their pride. Okay. So just being too proud to tap into your network. Your network is useless to you if you can't use it. If you're going to be all self-sufficient and independent, why do you need a network? But if you have a network and your pride prevents you from tapping into your network, then of course you're wasting that network. Okay. All right, so let's look at some principles of networking. Talk about some barriers. Let's look at some of the principles, some of the positive things you should be focusing on, right? Relationship. It takes effort to build true relationship, right? So time and energy needs to be invested into building relationship. So set up a system of communication with your contact. Every now and then, have a scheduled time where you scroll through certain names, say hello, ask a question or two about your last discussion, whenever, and you can just do this, maybe once a week, a time when you communicate. Make sure it's personalized because when you do a broadcast, people know that it's a broadcast. They ignore it because you're not consciously sending that message to them. So that's the way to help when it comes to networking. Of course, it can tell other purpose. Avoid constantly asking for help while your contacts are resources we know, but being needy can be off-putting, right? And sometimes we fall into this trap of ignoring somebody for a long time. Just this morning, I was dropping my baby off in school, and something crossed my mind about calling someone to ask a question. And this person, I've not talked to him for like a year. I just dropped the phone, just thinking about the fact that I've not talked to him for about a year. We've not had any exchange or interaction. Why would the first thing that comes out of my mouth be, hey, can you help me with that? Right. So, of course, it's not like it wouldn't have been out of place. It's not as if this guy would have said, hey, what's your problem? Why are you asking me for something? Right. The real message here is being needy is when you ask. The last time you communicated was to ask. The next time you're going to communicate again will be ask. And when the series is put together, it looks as if every time we network, it's me that is tapping into that person. That is not a good thing because networking is two ways. Same thing applies to work environment. You're working with someone and you're always, taking your challenges to the person's desk to get it fixed as a way of networking. No, that's not it. There has to be a two-way approach to natural relationships. Get to know those you are interacting with in your network. It's very important that you put that into your consideration as well. And then listen. So we'll talk about maintaining eye contact, not being distracted. Nowadays, our phones have become a major problem. Somebody's talking to you, and your phone beeping, and then you quickly pick it up to check it while the person is still in front of you. Certain culture perceives it as outright disrespectful, but we're talking about it in the context of you being absent-minded, not caring about the person around you, and that can be an off-putting effect. So do not allow the other person to just talk. Listen to the person, and then in listening to somebody, ensure that you are able to pay attention. The way you can show that you have shown attention, the way you can demonstrate that is to be able to rephrase in your own words what you have heard. So the person confirms that you understand him or her well. All right. And then, networking also requires that you offer value, right? It's a two-way thing. We share knowledge. We also get knowledge. You know, it's an exchange. We don't make it transactional. It's not as if, oh, once I share a little bit of knowledge to you, it's not your turn to share knowledge to me. No, it's not that transactional. The whole idea is have it in your mind that what you get from someone, you should also be preparing things that you can also share. That's the whole idea, right? Identify the needs of others, determine how your expertise will meet those needs, and then offer to help. Not everybody will accept your offer, right? Not everybody will accept your offer, but at least offer to help is very important, right? And do not overcomplicate this, right? Simple gestures might just be ideas on how to solve a simple problem. It's not as if I'm going to solve the problem for you. I could just, you know, have an idea that I can share with you that can help you solve that problem. So that's what we're talking about here. Build trust. You don't want to start off a networking interaction on the foundation of lies. So honesty is actually the first thing you must take into consideration, because sometimes you might not value a relationship at the beginning. You may just think this is just going to be a one-off, you know, I'm not going to be here for long, so we'll not have to meet again. And then because of that, you know, you recklessly lie and be dishonest about yourself and things around you and things you know and blah, blah, blah. And then things take a different turn, you are stuck together, you meet again and again and again and again, and those lies come back to haunt you. So the best thing is just to be honest, you know. Of course, there are always the proper boundaries to set when it comes to networking professionally within the workplace. Not as if you're going to reveal the name of your dog and, you know, what your wife likes and what your children do. And you're not going to get to that level, but whatever you consider important to share, let it be the honest items or honest truths. Instead of compounding issues, because later, you know, lies and dishonesty can come back to destroy relationship, even at the time when it might even be most valuable, when you think you're building something good. Then act with consistency, be a mindful employee every day, not just when the boss is around, right? Let's be known for something. Be someone that people can count on in your workplace. Be helpful. Do not be seen as a self-serving coworker who is willing to do anything to succeed. So people are just like crabs in the workplace. They are looking for who to climb over, and so they will lie and, you know, divide and rule and use all kinds of antics to run down other people, right? But it comes back. It comes back. You know, those who are more humble, those who are more professional, focus on getting things done, focus on the team success, focus on excellence, you know, what comes out of them, they tend to do a lot better for the long run, right? So in your focus, don't always think about being selfish, about being the only one that is excellent and that achieves. You can all be excellent together, right? You can all help each other. That's the whole idea of networking within the organization. But then there are some people that work in certain places where they can work there for years, right? And they don't even know the names of co-workers they interact with daily. You've never taken the time to introduce themselves. There are some that all they tell you is, my name is Paul, my name is Fred, my name is John, my name is Tosin, my name is Scholar. For the first time when meeting someone new, at least pronounce both names. If you are the one receiving the person's name, repeat it back. It shows that you listen, it shows that you understand, and it shows that you have recorded it. And do the same thing with your name to that person. At least two names, first name and last name. So that way it sticks that someone has been properly introduced. Then it's the little acts of, hey, are you going for lunch? Can we go to lunch together? Oh, there's a town hall meeting, you know, let's walk together. I'll wait for you. You know, which area do you stay? Can we do ride sharing, or can we walk to the junction to take a bus together? some of those little gestures is what builds the network in the workplace. There are so many people that work in the same environment, in the same building, they close from the same office, they probably live in the same neighborhood, but they never connect, they never move together, they never do things as one. I don't know what you benefit from that, but this is telling you that you need to build a proper network within your work environment. Be polite, make a good impression. Sometimes you are not impressed by certain behaviors at work. You don't become, riotous about it. You don't become disrespectful. You don't say hurtful words just because you feel unhappy about what's done or what's not done. Always use politeness in expressing yourself in the workplace. And if you pay attention to people around you and show a lot of consideration, there will be reciprocity from everyone around you, especially when you are the kind of person that think through things before you act on them, before you do them. There'll be a lot of reciprocity. You get a lot of positive vibes from those around you. And like I said, there's so many things being said about you, decisions being made about you that you will not be there. So don't think that because I'm very good with my job, whenever I deliver my job, the bosses are always very thrilled. Everybody wants to work. They always call me to come and do some hard tasks because I'm the only one that can do it. That's all that's going to lift you. No, it wouldn't. It wouldn't. There are certain times when a leader is required. That leader, when it's being selected, may not necessarily be the one that knows how best to do the job. The one that knows how best to do the job, they can leave him at the bottom. Let him keep doing the job. They'll pick someone else who you thought wasn't, that skilled or that important. Because that person has learned to network. The person is building bridges. The person is building relationships with people. They see that person as able to influence others under him at his level and above him, and they make him your boss. Become angry and become unsatisfied with your job because you felt all along that getting the job done so well at the technical level, managerial level, will take you to the top. It wouldn't. It wouldn't. Networking is a form of leadership. Ability to interact with people, ability to connect with people and build relationships is what is going to take you to the top to a very large extent beyond your ability to do. Of course, the ability to do the job is something that is going to add to it. For my estimation, I'll probably say between 30 and 40% of your ability to get the job done, right? But when you start rising to the top, you are no longer a specialist. You're now supposed to do more work, getting others to do the job, right? And for you to get more work done, the multiplier effects of that leadership ability will now rely on your networks, your leadership skills, and your power of influence. All right, so after meeting new people, it's important to follow up with them. So this part of the network experience can be awkward. You met somebody, we had a cocktail, different departments came, and we that you have some discussions on different things. It could be hobbies related, it could be work related, it could be economy related discussions, and you leave. By the time you separate and you are trying to think about the new networks that you have made, new contacts you have saved, going to reach back to them. It might just be to say hello, how's your week going? I hope you're not too stressed, for example. Or have you checked this? I saw an article that is referring to something we discussed during that first meeting. Here is the link and so on and so forth. There should be some ways, right? As a way to break the ice in that second contact. It's very important that you don't leave. I have taken his contact, you have taken my contact when we need ourselves anytime in the future. Now, I'm teaching you this, but I'm very bad at this particular step of follow-up. It's very bad for me. Sometimes I begin to judge myself that, oh my goodness, I've had this person's contact for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 1 month. I have not reached back to the person. So recently I've started doing that. So I had a business cocktail, of course, not within the organization, outside the organization with several other organizations. And, so when we took out exchange contact, I deliberately made out, reach out to them, to all those I met, one after the other within the first 1 week of that cocktail, so that I can extend the conversation beyond we just met, because you don't know where you will meet. Okay, so it's important that this follow-up is done. If you find this as a weakness, just like I did, please work on it. And then don't force it. All relationships will develop naturally. Don't rush it. You might send somebody a message and they didn't even respond. They didn't even acknowledge that you were there, right? Don't push it. Sometimes you can do maybe 1, 2, maximum 3. I said to you one little message. I called you, probably didn't pick that too. And then I saw something that I think you might like, and I dropped it for you. Whether I use it or not, I don't know. But you didn't acknowledge it and tell me that, oh, this thing, thank you for it, right? Then I'm done. I'm done. Because it's not everybody you have to be a friend to. You can't be network to every Tom, Dick, and Harry. Some people don't just want to network, right? It might be inferiority complex. Sometimes, before I used to think when somebody does not greet you, maybe the person is feeling arrogant. Sometimes the person is just afraid Matt is smelling that if he greets you, the smell will get to you and you'll be put off, right? So the person just keeps his mouth shut. So don't always assume, give that excuse for people why they are not interested in networking, but you cannot be the one that did not make the first move, right? So that's the whole idea. Make the first move, and then of course you can do 1 or 2 more over a month's period, and that's it. But let it be conscious, let it be intentional. You're not trying to rush, you're not trying to invade somebody's privacy, you're not trying to stalk anybody, right? It's important to just, make it organic, let it grow out of. And to be honest, when we start networking with people, you don't know what you can do for the person, what the person can do for you. You don't know. You don't really know. You just want to make sure that your network is growing, right? So that's the whole idea. The value of the network is the first thing you have to have in your mind. I want to have people in my network. Some networks are so large. I have a very large network. I built it over time on LinkedIn, on Facebook, on face-to-face meetings, my alumni in various educational institutions that I've attended. It just keeps growing. And then now that I'm a capacity builder for the industry, people I meet on a regular basis as I train and interact with them, this network keeps growing, right? It is a beautiful thing to build this network because you don't know how quickly these networks can transform into opportunities for you and your career. So you must be able to identify the networking opportunities. There are the formal, the informal, opportunities, and the day-to-day interactions, that you just stumble upon. Let's talk about the formal opportunities. So organization organizes an event, a football match. I used to have family day outs, early days managing teams. I'll call everybody, come with your wives and children, and let's have a fun day. It's a company event, right? So that's what's us the opportunity to interact and get to know ourselves. And I've been saved a lot, just the way I've also helped, others. On one of those occasions, I was driving on quite a busy street in the city of Warri, and all of a sudden, a vehicle, drove behind me, hit me from behind. And of course, the usual thing now, you just come down and say, hey, are you not seeing what's wrong with you? You just, broke my lights or something. Before I could do that, another car pulled up beside me, and a lady I couldn't quite recognize so well told me, don't stop, keep moving. These guys are kidnappers. And I drove off. I just drove off. I mean, what's a broken light compared to, somebody pull out a gun on me in broad daylight in the busy street, right? So, and then a day later, one of my colleagues said, oh, my wife told me she saw you encountering something on the road, and those guys are very notorious in that area. I was, I mean, I was more than, surprised that, I was in such a situation. And I was saved just because of the power of networking, just because we have those, formal events where we meet once a month just to interact and talk about things and have fun, basically. That recognition was there, and says, oh, this is my person. I cannot allow these guys get away with this kind of behavior on this man. So that's the whole idea. We need to tap into networks, because you can't isolate yourself and hope for magic to happen. And then there's also the informal network. This one is more frequent, right? Opportunities that happen on almost on a daily basis. When you send emails around, when you take break to the coffee bar, take a few drinks, lunchtime, group discussions on the corridor, all those kind of things that puts people together. Sometimes you are coming up with an initiative and you're thinking, oh, this sustainability initiative, let's use energy efficiency, for example, or recycling sustainability initiative. Who will be interested? We'll do a little bit of a poll around the office, get a few champions together to start holding informal meetings and talking. These are all part of networking. They are all part of network. They are all part of the things that we should deliberately build, that we should cultivate. And then, of course, the work the opportunities. We interact with people, we greet new employees when they come into the workplace. Oh, this person has just joined us. Oh, welcome, Alfred. Welcome, Mr. John, and so on and so forth. Those little two opportunities where they're not formal, they're not even informal events. They're just the stop by here and there as we go on. The main thing to do is to make it a real networking, to make it really valuable as a networking event. Let's start to pay attention to each other, right? Sometimes you may not know what this will do, right? Somebody might be in a state of mind that requires certain encouragement or motivation, but if you're not paying attention, you will not know, right? And then for yourself, look the part, look professional. Don't bring your emotions and your mood, and your downtime into the workplace. Try to bring everybody down as much as possible. Look the parts, and then make personal gestures. Help to endear you to others. Show them that you care. Make them feel that you care. Pay attention to changes in the industry. Maintain your expertise. Just don't be lost in the way things used to be done. The more you grow, the more you learn, the more you bring more changes and improvements and innovation to your workplace. The more respect you get, the wider your network goes, and the more value you get as a team member. A few networking mistakes. Number one, not meeting new people. So people are just so frightened of meeting people. Look, if it's the embarrassment, it's better you are embarrassed. You put your wrong foot forward or something than not to meet new people. You must be building your network. I'm sure most of you have heard this saying that your net worth is equivalent to your network, right? People determines how much your value is to society and is to yourself, right? And then the next error or mistake is not following through. I told you this has been my biggest challenge as a coach, as a teacher, and I'm working on this. Everyone should, right? You meet new people, you try to, and one way I've done this is I've totally, almost totally dropped my complimentary cards, because I noticed that once I give out complimentary cards and take complimentary cards, I don't find those complimentary cards when I need to follow through, and it becomes a problem, right? So what I started doing was, stop. Let me take your number and give you my number, and even flash each other right there and then, and save the details into the phone. That's when I'm sure I have it, right? And then in the last networking activity I was in, I found out I could make it faster because I want to take like 10 people's phone numbers. But if I have to type it one by one and do that exchange, I probably will miss them. They'll jump to the account, they'll go. So there's an app I found. I think it's called Poppy, where you can just, you have a QR code. Next guy has a QR code. He scans yours, he scans his in his phone. And it just goes straight into your address book, and then you don't have that follow-up to do. Different technology that can help you do this. But the important thing is get the contact right into where you need it and where you can easily retrieve it, not in complimentary cards that are sometimes lost and then you're looking for it. You can't find that contact, all right? And then some make the mistake of expecting too much from their network, from networking. They pay money they don't have to attend events they cannot afford, and then they expect magic. They expect to become billionaires from the meeting and mixing with rich kids in the neighborhood. That's not what we're talking about here. Make your expectations be reasonable when networking. Let it not put you at a situation where you are expecting too much and you're trying to grab too much from that network. And then be professional, right? need to be conscious. While being warm and friendly in your interaction, you need to ensure that you do not become too casual, right? In your demeanor or decorum. Your behavior should be professional. This is not like pretending to be someone else. No, but you need to carry yourself well with respect. At least the least you can do is to carry yourself with respect. Not because you are feeling hungry, you go and overeat. In an occasion, they put a platter on the table and then you are six around the platter, and then because you are hungry, you go and devour half of that platter. No. You carry yourself well. You respect yourself. You do things with moderation. That's what we're talking about here. Okay, and of course, relationships. Be genuine. Be genuine. Don't fake. When networking, don't fake anything. Don't fake anything. Be genuine. Be yourself. Right now. So what I would just advise is be yourself. Does not mean that if you are the over playful type, the reckless type at home, you bring that to your network. No, you are a notch above. Professionalism makes you a notch above. You behave consciously and intentionally, right? But do not pretend to be someone you are not, right? Don't pretend to be someone you are not when building a network. And then be part of dialogues and communication. Some people are careful of being involved in dialogue because they are afraid that they will say the wrong words, right? So if you are afraid you say the wrong words, don't speak too much. Talk a little, but listen more. That way, you will show participation by just rephrasing and paraphrasing what others say and showing you understand it and chipping a word here and there. It's helpful. It does not throw you with negative vibes in such an environment. And then maintain boundaries. People will rush on you and take all your time if you make them feel that you are so free and loose for such a situation. So maintain boundaries. Don't be afraid to say no, right? But every time you say no, explain, right? But don't hide yourself away. Don't hide yourself away. Don't say no to everything that comes your way. No, that's not helpful. Invest time. There's no networking that you will do that will not require some level of time and effort. So people will say, oh, I'd rather be at home sleeping than sitting in the bar and chatting with friends. My dear, you are not better off sleeping if you have an opportunity to network and learn a little bit about each other and exchange some value in terms of knowledge sharing with each other. You're not better off. Of course, I'm not saying you shouldn't sleep, but be able to pay attention to this virtue that we're talking about here so that you can get from it and also give with it. And then, of course, there are online tools. You're on Facebook, you're on X, you're on LinkedIn. For the Facebook and X, it's a mix, professional and social and, the playful environment. But in terms of LinkedIn, it is more professional. It's strictly business, careers, and so on and so forth. Learn to differentiate the kind of content you share in each of these spaces, and try not to be too petty, too things that creates negative stigma. Of course, everybody has one weakness or the other, one ill or the other. But if you now carry such ill, let's assume you smoke a lot, right? And then every video you put out, you're always smoking, and you're sometimes you create a stereotype for yourself on your social media, which can put off certain people who are not comfortable with such personalities, especially when such personalities can be taken as this is the kind of person this is, right? So be very careful what you put out on social media. You don't have to put your whole self out there. In fact, the guys who formed those social media platforms, they didn't put their whole self out there. They still select what they lay out there for the world to see, because it's out there for the whole world to see. So be careful and conscious. Of course, you can build a lot of networking, a lot of relationships. People can get to know you for what you stand for. They can get to tap into your knowledge in certain domains and areas. Share contents that are useful. to people in those platforms, and to make a lot of difference. And that includes blogs, right? You write comments, you create little videos and skits. Let's say the knowledge sharing related stuff. I've seen so much emphasis on playful stuff on social media, YouTube nowadays, that I wonder whether we're even learning anything. If you know anything and you can do a little video about it, put it out there, it will help to improve your profile. People begin to know you for something. People begin to know you as someone who can contribute to this kind of discussion. They call it to address webinars and seminars. They call it to conferences because they see the kind of content you're putting out on a regular basis. That's what we're talking about here. So you don't just get lost into things that are, of course you'll do the trivia once in a while, but let's not just be all that you do on social media and in all of these digital media spaces, okay? Of course, networking requires that you put in time, but you must also manage that time, okay? Not all contacts are of equal value. You also have to prioritize contacts, rank them, know those that, you'll be more frequent with, those that you will not be, and those you will not even contact at all. And then, plan your outings. Nowadays, I get appointments. I look at appointments again and again and say, okay, I think I should go for this one. I have this appointment. I'll go. The ones I don't want to go for, it's not aligned to my goals and my aspirations. I just say, no, I'm not going for this one, right? So it's very important. And then when you connect online, also put some level of boundaries, right? Let there be conversations that allow you to know those you're connecting with online. Let it be personal, let it not always be a broadcast type of thing that you put out online. Let it be personal. Let there be a little bit of yourself in that interaction. But the most important thing is, as you give value, learn to take value back. Learn to ask for value in return as you move on in the relationship. Relationship takes time. It's not once you just connect with somebody, therefore you are not friends, you are not networked, and then things start flowing. Little steps here and there will build it over time. Okay, contact every now and then will build it over time. And just many people in your network who are observing you, they're not basically just bumping on you on a daily basis. They're observing you. They're seeing your work online. They're seeing your interaction. They're watching your appearance on TV. They are seeing all the different things you do. So they don't necessarily need to, be on your face every day for them to feel that they are networked with you. Okay. We talked about being honest, giving personal attention to all interactions, and then limit network to manageable size. You cannot be networked to everybody at the same time. So sometimes I have a network that's so large. Sometimes one of my 26,000 connections on LinkedIn will meet me on the face-to-face event and say, "Hey, Mr. Paul, we had that exchange and blah blah blah." And I'm thinking, okay, who among the 300 I've interacted with in the last 2 weeks? Which conversation are we talking about here? It's a bit difficult when the network becomes very large. But again, when you prioritize the network, it's easy for you to, okay, so these ones are in this category and these ones are in that category, and you can work with them in that regard. All right, so that's our session for today. I hope you've learned one or two things, and I hope you'll be able to use this in your career growth, in your professional development. So I'm going to see if we have a question. If you have a question, please type it in the chat. If your hand is up, I can also acknowledge you to ask your question. Okay, and if you are not in the Max-Migold training WhatsApp platform, it's a place to be. You can ask questions there. I can answer those questions. Look at the chat now. I believe one of the Max-Migold team members will be dropping the link to join the WhatsApp chat group. If you go on all social media platforms, just type Max-Migold. Our channels are everywhere. Connect with us for regular updates. And then I'll recommend that you visit our YouTube channel. Go there and get a lot of learning free of charge. There's so much content I have on YouTube right now that I will be locking off soon. So if you want to take some of my training sessions there for free, this is the opportunity to do that. For the FM Mastercraft Diploma, go to promo.facilitymanagementcourses.com and sign up. It's something that you can begin now. People complain about the cost. I wish I could do something about the cost. But then, of course, there's something I can do really. If you have a team, you're part of an association, you're part of a company, and your team, you can put together a team of 20, 30 people, to come take the FM diploma together. That cost can crash to even 10% of the listed price on the website, because the real driver of the cost today is not the cost of delivering the training, but the cost of acquiring each candidate in terms of adverts and marketing placement. So if we can solve that problem together as a group, as a community, and we talk to each other about the FM diploma, the price will crash. Clearly, if we can come, in group, we are a group of builders, we're a group of engineers, we're a group of architects. We've had, the group of architects in Port Harcourt, for example, come in as a group and take the FM diploma. I'm really amazed that they did that, and I see the progress they're making in that front in the FM industry. So we can do that for engineering groups, for estate surveyors, for estate agents. So talk to your networks, talk to your groups, and see what's, if you're a cleaning service providers association, talk to everybody and say, look, you know what, this training is 600,000. Let's go and tell Mr. Paul we have 50,000 for it. But we need the numbers to make that price crash from 600,000 to 50,000. And then you come and talk, and we strike a good deal to give you the training. promo.facilitymanagementcourses.com is the website. And the email address to send any inquiries to is info@max-migold.com. I'll be in all of these platforms and channels to answer your questions. As I wish you a good rest of the day and rest of the week until we meet again next week, Thursday, for another exciting episode of the Launch Hour on Thursday. So for now, it's bye-bye.